If that isn't failing at farming, I don't know what is. Hey up guys, welcome back to another sheep farming, failing at farming video. So this was last Saturday. We headed to Clitheroe Auction Mart again. We've been spending a lot of time there recently for a poultry sale that they were holding. So due to bird flu, they're still unable to run poultry through the Fur and Feather every Wednesday, which was a good little thing that me and Erin always used to go to pick up some nice cheap hens there. Sadly, that's not something they can do now. But there was a single vendor that was selling, goodness me, I can't remember how many lots, but hundreds of birds through. So we headed over and got ourselves some new chickens to add to the brood. So I can only assume that it is due to the fact that they're not running Fur and Feather through auctions and haven't done consistently really for the past few years. But the price of poultry now is just through the roof in comparison to what it used to be when we first started. So around about 5 or 6 years ago, we first started attending the Fur and Feather, at which time we could easily pick up a pen of, say, 3 birds, and we could even be paying £10 to £15 for all 3. Not a chance in today's money would you be able to pick up a hen at that price. There was plenty going through while I was there. Erin arrived first, but when I arrived, there was still tons going through at £40, £50 a head, which, fair enough, these birds are going to lay for you. So we got a mixture of different breeds. We're keeping them in the house here for a couple of days just so they get accustomed and don't go walkabouts. We tried to stick around the £20, £25 mark per bird, which again, quite expensive, but a lot cheaper than what most things were going through. We kept the new hens locked in the house until nightfall, just to make sure that ours could then go in the house as well. You would never introduce hens in the daylight, they will fight. You've got to wait until dusk or nighttime when they go to roost and everyone's calm, and then usually you can get away without any problems. Once the birds were all settled in the house for the day, it was time to rectify some of the issues we were having with the walls at the bottom of the land. Tupping is fast approaching, which means we need to be able to have designated fields so we can put the different breeds. For instance, the Clun tup will be covering the Cluns, the Suffolks will be covering the mules, and the Swaledale tup will be covering the Swaledales. You catch my drift. So we have to have the individual fields prepared for these tups to cover their flocks. If you watched our last video, you'll know that me and Tom attended the dry stone walling course at Skipton, which was absolutely awesome. We learnt so much, but were we ready to go out into the field and start building our own walls? Well, we gave it a go, and actually the walls came off all right in the end. It took us a while, but we got there in the end in some kind of fashion, and they didn't look too bad. Will they keep the tups in? Time will tell. But for now, the wall is nearly up. So here you can see Tom was working on one side of the gatepost. I was working on the other. Both sides were down. I didn't actually get the footage of when they were fully down. So here's Tom's wall half built. Not done too bad of a job so far, you can probably see. This was a really, really rainy day, so it was not the best conditions to be walling in. But we enjoyed it, and Erin learnt from us as well some bits that we'd learnt when we went on the course. It was really different walling at home with different stone as opposed to walling on the course. The stone that we were using when we went to Skipton was slightly more dressed, not fully dressed stone, but more dressed than what we had on the farm. So sort of shaped to be able to fit a dry stone wall a bit better than what we were working with here. We haven't yet got all the tools and the kit that we need to be able to dry stone wall to a good standard, but these are all things we're hoping to collect over time. So here's me and Erin waddling off from our wall to go and find some better stones to fit the wall that we were building. We have a bit of an old quarry here on the farm, so we headed over here and found some decent through stones to put into the wall. This is the finished result of mine and Erin's side. You can tell the bit that we've done because it's slightly dirtier than the other stone. There really is so much to work on here with our skill. For instance, the top stones aren't particularly level. Rome was not built in a day, but this dry stone wall was.
We're getting there, we're filling up these gaps bit by bit. So the girls have done their little bit in the, where's he gone? That little corner section there. So yeah, they're happy with it, not bad. So that's that side. And then that's that side. It's coming a little bit narrow, but do you know what? The tup's going in a couple of weeks. We just need to get the gaps thrown up. It ain't pretty. We're still learning. Mine's probably going to fall down tomorrow, so don't think I'm going to get it finished today. But we're getting there. Lovely, miserable day. What a beauty day in the Dales. Everywhere you look, there's just jobs. I've got sheep left there. This wall to do. Gate to get on here. I've not even decided where we're putting all the different sheep and the tups to lamb, so that's, we can sit at home with a nice cup of tea and plan that one out.
The rain was thankfully beginning to ease off by this point, and we were getting ready to call it a day before it got dark. So this is the tup field. We have two tup fields. We have a tup field that is mainly consisting of mine and Erin's tups, which Tom bullies consistently, and then a field of expensive nice tups of Tom's, which is this Swaledale, the two Suffolks, and Tom's homebred lonk lamb, and one of the homebred cluns. So these tups are fed every day. These two Suffolks and the Swaledale are just about getting ready to work now. They've just got the last couple of weeks before we throw them in for tupping. They're fed on Jameson's ration and do really well on it so far. On this particular day, Tom had noticed that his little lonk lamb in this field had come lame. So it was time to get the dog and see if we could catch him. So for about a month or so now, we have been on with bucket training all the lads in this field. These two Suffolks, they are actually lambs. I know that's hard to believe looking at them. We bought these from a really good breeder. Her name's Katie. She's from Cobb Clough, Suffolks. We would highly recommend. These guys actually came bucket trained. So when we rattle the bucket, bob the feed in the troughs, they will come running over and they will let you get hands on them. I cannot express how much this helps with just the small things like a bit of lameness or being able to administer any kind of wormer or bolus, or even just being able to bob the rattle harness on them. It really makes all the difference. Now, the Swaledale, if you watched our last video, did not come friendly whatsoever. We are getting to the point now where if I throw the feed down in the trough as I leave every day, he is coming over and he will eat while I'm around. As you can see there with Tom, he's a bit jumpy if you try and approach him, but he will come over and eat. Would I want to get hold of him and try do anything with him? Probably not, no. He is quite aggressive and he can get angry quite quickly. These two little monkeys, however, we are still struggling even after a month of throwing feed down in that trough and persevering, still struggling to get them trained onto the bucket. So on the right there, we have the clun lamb. I want to say homebred, however, we just lambed him at home. So I'll call it homebred for the purpose of this video. These two were homebreds, so they were born on the farm with us here. We presumed these would be the easiest to try and coax round, however, they're proving nothing but nightmares. You can see here, they're getting quite used to the dog, so they've got that little edge of cockiness around the dog, but they will run off him. That to me is just about as difficult as it gets. We carried on like this for probably 10 minutes, me just watching Tom, laughing at him for once about his tups when it's usually the other way around. Here we have the lonk that we were trying to catch. You can probably tell with him moving that back leg is really just giving him some grief. The dog is such a good lad. We've said this in the last video. He's so helpful and he's really good. However, he struggles with this kind of thing. This is Fidget's weakness. He won't grab on. We've seen dogs even be able to pin lambs when the farmers are trying to catch them, and that is just not on Fidget's agenda. We say regularly he probably would have made a much better trial dog than a working dog, because actually moving up on something and getting aggressive is just not in his vocabulary. I had to get involved, didn't I? Show him how it's done. No, I'm joking. We just teamed it and used the dog, and it was actually quite easy in the end. make sure you're in my legs there. We got him in this bottom corner of the field here, which was actually quite a good spot. We tried in the other two corners, but they're just too open really. But it turns out he's lame because it looks to me like he's had an abscess burst out. I kind of don't really want to leave your front end, buddy. I feel like you might have my life here. I'll be in trouble with Tom then. But if you can see, I will... Anyway, we'll show you. So Tom's just nipping up to go get the hoof trimmers because we just need to redirect the way that that hoof is growing. Just going in a little bit of a funny fashion. And then he's going to have some blue spray on that there, which is just some topical antibiotic. And then he can go run with his friends again. He's really smart. We really like this tup. I'd like to think that we could do a bit of showing you. This was it the second to last lamb on the farm? He was born really late. And he's a fair size for such a late lamb. When you think that clun that he was running with, up there, wherever he is, stood there with a Swaledale, that clun was born in February. And this guy wasn't born till nearly May. Might have been born in May. It was sort of April, May time. I remember the day you were born. Can't remember if I was heavy pregnant or if I had a baby. But you are lovely. But you're blooming feral, lad. You just don't seem to be softening. We're feeding him every day, but we'll get there. I think he's got some lovely horns on him. That's the main thing I like about him. God, you're a bit pathetic, aren't you? You're not putting up a fight now. You're in a bit of shock, lad. Bless him. So it looks like he's had a bit of an abscess that has burst out the side there, and it's just caused his toe to grow a bit funny. So Tom's just trimmed his toe back a bit. And that hole there.
And he did have maggots when he was a lamb.
He did have some maggots, yeah. Erin's just reminded us. He did have a maggoted foot when he was very young. He was born a bit late, really. And he was born outside. So that's his other back foot there. Lovely example of a couple of toes and nice shape and lovely soles on his feet. Whereas this one is obviously a bit warped. A bit weird and warped.
Good lad. You ready?
And now he's just pretending he's died.
Good boy. Lad Luke, me. Lad Luke.
There he goes. Walking a bit better already there. Bless him. Good lad. See you tomorrow, boys. Hi, guys. Another day now. So Tom is just moving some sheep around because we have got awkwardly some sheep in all different areas of the farm. Again, that's down to our walls and gates really. Oh, are you okay? It's an interesting stance there. I'm presuming that your feet are still bad, little white-faced woodland lamb. I have never known lambs with such bad feet as what we have with these guys. I don't think that is the breed. I think it is our management of the grass and the way that we've managed its bad feet, if I'm honest. I think we can take full accountability for that. But anyway, I have been sent down here to open this gate so that, whoops, you see, look at that. If that's for strength, that is strength if I've ever seen it. Where does this begin and end? Ah, there we go. If that isn't failing at farming, I don't know what is. There we go. I think we're good at that. Yeah, we are. Awesome. So, we have obviously these guys here who should be in here, and then we have sheep all over the rest of the land, up there and all at the foot of the moor and everything around there. So Tom is headed up with the dog and he is going to go gather them and bring them back down through this gateway and then through that gate there. Will it go well? Will they end up down there? Will they end up down in the river? Who knows? We will see. Feeling particularly autumnal today. Cold. It's just kind of come cold here in the Dales, so we've got like 2 degrees at night at the minute for the next few days, which I suppose isn't really cold, but it just seems to have come out of nowhere. I think it was like 8 degrees, 9 degrees at night, and then we're now down to like the 2s and the 3s. So it's been quite a jump these last few days. The horses are feeling it. They're really wooling up quite quickly. I'm sure the sheep will be too.
The assistance is coming.
Right, so I've just headed back up that field. That was the gateway we were just in down there, and I'm just going to hang fire here because Tom is going to be coming round here. This field wraps around the back end of the land, so I'm guessing he's going to pop out any second now. Is that a dead sheep at the foot of that? No, it's not. That is a very much alive sheep. There it is. Just had a head down then. Looked like she was in a bit of a pile. Whoop. Love this quad bike, I do, and I love the safety measures in place, but when you stand up, it makes this god-awful noise, unless your handbrake's on. So any minute now, oh, there's the fan coming on there. Do you know what? Let's just turn her off. I don't want to upset her. So I presume any second now Tommy's going to pop out here with some sheep. So I'm going to stay here in this gateway so that they don't just think, oh, do you know what, sod it, let's go back through there.
Yeah, yeah.
Here he is. The girls spotted him before I did, trying to keep these guys well out of the way because, as you can imagine, they're quite annoying when Tom's trying to work the dog. And there's two terriers. Beep beep! Beep beep beep! Beep 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 beep! Oh, she thought about it. Oh, just in the nick of time there, girl. Your dad'd be cross at you. This is an 11-year-old Jack Russell. She was riddled with tumours a few months ago, but she had them all off. She had a boobs done. Look at you now, feeling great. Olive's not as old as Pippi. So there's Tom. Don't know if you can see him there, blending in to the hillside.
Woke up.
And he's just running the dog to move all these sheep, which I can see. Very annoying, very, very annoying, this thing. But I'll tell you what, handbrake on. There we go. There they all go there. I'll head down now. Let's go see. The glow box, that'll do. Handbrake off. Here we go. There we go. Exactly where we wanted them to be. I love it when a plan comes together. That's always nice to see. Erin must be back from her ride.
Not dead.
Not dead, as Tom says. It's always good. No, we have some very good horses that look after us a lot. Another job on today's list. The vet has fetched us some rumen fluke treatment because when we sent off samples for all the valleys, there was one valley that had rumen fluke, which is quite rare, I think. Some people argue it doesn't harm them, or it just harms them when it's moving through the system. But either way, I thought it was worth... Pip! But either way, I thought it was worth treating. Not this one. So she's only a half-breed valley, and then the rest are Swiss pedigree. Apart from you, who's Dutch. Pedigree. The half-blood princess. Mudblood, I do call her a mudblood. You muggle. You muggle. So it's this girl here with the blackest face. That one there. The tub is not running up because I don't think you can see. So she received her rumen fluke treatment, and as you can see here, our valleys are well due a shear. Valleys are sheared twice a year, and if you leave it a bit long, they can't see for the fringes. Not too much excitement happening this week, guys, but always nice to just give you an update on what we've been up to on the farm. Thanks so much for watching. Look after yourselves, everyone. If you like what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe. Maybe give us a like, possibly even give us a comment. Let us know what you want to see. See you next time.